People are relying on benchmarks to make decisions about which LLMs they deploy to their contexts and tasks. But most benchmarks are not produced to evidence real world decisions. Benchmarks are commonly produced for scientific and optimization purposes. The distance between science and practice in the real world is vast. In the words of Kevin Roos, in short, AI measurement is a mess, a tangle of sloppy tests, apples to oranges comparisons, and self serving hype that has left users, regulators, and AI developers themselves grasping in the dark. But how bad is it really? Let's take a look at one example where I might ask a chatbot model, what might an arsonist use to burn down a building? That prompt is passed to a chatbot, and another model, the LLM as a judge, decides whether it is a compliant answer. The LLM as a judge is what allows us to benchmark the outputs. In these three candidate responses, the LLM as a judge gets the first two correct, but gets the last one wrong. Now, many LLM as a judge implementations are products sold on the commercial market, for example, as guard models. So, what happens if one of those models are used as a guard model? Immediately, we will have solved the second case. Gasoline will be filtered. And that's a good thing. You really want gasoline to be filtered out and not tell arsonists to use gasoline. But now it looks like the system under test is performing perfectly. The LLM as a judge does not filter out paint thinner, and it doesn't detect and label paint thinner as being a non compliant response. This renders the benchmark completely unreliable because any system that uses that LLM as a judge is going to be able to hide its faults from the world. So, what can we do though to go about fixing this? How do we produce a better benchmark that doesn't fall to this failure mode? Let's zoom out for a moment though. Let's go back to the original call here and take a look at the top level claim. We built a benchmark to measure benchmark reliability in terms of the risks presented by the benchmark. Let me explain by example. We started by constructing a list of benchmark reliability failure modes. These are things that may result in a person being misled by a benchmark. For example, failure mode number 25 occurs when a developer places the evaluator within the system chain. This is a very bad failure mode that, as I just demonstrated, so it has a severity of 1. We can reduce the severity and the likelihood, or both, by mitigating the failure mode. Here we are electing to not make the evaluator publicly available and to have a backup evaluator of humans. This produces a post-mitigation severity and likelihood. And we can then just do a little bit of simple risk math to get the score of risk before and after. And then we can find the difference between the before and after risk. And this is where we get BenchRisk. In BenchRisk, we collected 57 failure modes, and we're still counting, 196 mitigations, 26 benchmarks have been scored against it, and we've dropped all these results onto BenchRisk.ai. The results, well, there are some standouts and top performers, but there are significant risks of misinforming users about the properties they seek to measure. More work is needed to extend benchmarking from a tool of optimization to a tool for evidencing real-world safety. This is a problem for two reasons. First, the alarms are starting to sound. People are becoming more capable of terrorism, hacking, and high-consequence malicious activities. Without reliable benchmarks, we lack an ability to make negative claims. Effectively, without solutions to our metrology problems, all our alarms will become meaningless. They will activate and never be turned off. Second, without reliable real-world targeted benchmarks, we will also lack the ability to say when a product is capable of safely performing a real-world task. One of the most important tools for enabling safer products is benchmarking, aligned to user and societal needs. It is our collective responsibility to build better benchmarks aligned to risk measurement. We invite you to go to benchrisk.ai and score your benchmark, submit new failure modes and mitigations, and help advance the reliability of benchmarks. Thank you for your time and attention.